Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow, joined at the desk today by Stephen Return Johnson, as we are in the middle of a game best of three series between Kennesaw State University Owls and the Drexel Dragons. So a little bit of East Coast matchups going on as Drexel out of Philly, I believe, Kennesaw out of Kennesaw, Georgia. So some Eastern League of Legends. This is a JV matchup for those of you not in the know. So if you're thinking, wait, that doesn't sound right. Aren't they in different regions? No, they're not. Kennesaw State did come away with the 1-0 off the rip, so it will be Drexel from the back foot trying to shore things up, see if they can't make the tweaks in their composition that they need to get this series back on track. Mm. Hmm. Yes, certainly. So we'll see how they do. Just make sure things happen on that end. Going to be curious to, watch how this all unfolds. The R's are coming down, so we will be getting into picks and bans shortly here. Don't know if this is anything to read into or not, but the members of Drexel University are in a different lineup this time around. So I don't know if that's just going to be confusing us as spectators or if they really are going to be sending Cha-Ching into that AD carry role. Said, sorry, Pathsen, you had your chance. You play support now. We'll find out. That may just not be right. We'll find out, right? Well, the casters know as much as you do at home, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm excited to see, personally, Daddy Dazzle maybe bringing out that Tom Kench mid lane.
You're duller than a broken sandwich.
Let me get in there.
Your judgment is clouded. Seek clarity.
Well, Kennesaw State not going to be too worried. They are going to throw out the ban on the Tom Kench. They thought if there was one thing that was a wrench in their system last game, it was the ability with which Daddy Dazzle did protect Path Send there. So we'll see if that's yeah, I love it, right, Daddy Dazzle?
So I go.
Oops. Hashtag oops. Happens from time to time, part of the job. Shen banned away, so they don't actually want to see it against them. This time, Kennesaw State, they picked it for Havoc. They won't let that come through for Reaper potentially this game. Varus is taken out and away, and that was a ban of theirs last time around. It was the last ban of the red face. So Kennesaw State opting to drop the Shen, pick up the Varus. They want that one for themselves. And we're going to see now how the response comes out of Drexel because they did take away the Orianna. The Sejuani Open this time around. They do opt for that over the J4. Probably going to be a little bit better of a pickup this time, especially for Cha-Ching if he does continue to play that jungle role. Going to find out. Yeah, so they're going to make some swaps this time around, to say the least. It is Lionheart taking away that Jungle J4. Rakan will now be played by the Drexel support, whomever he may be this time. And potentially the Gragas hover. Be surprised to see that one locked in. Is going to be Galio, just a champion away. He just clicked the wrong box there, nothing to see here. And Last Mage will be taking that one. So a little bit of a composition adoption coming out from the Kennesaw State side. They're saying, hey, look, you know what? You tried it last time. Yep. Yeah, we liked it. This time, we'll see how you guys do with it. So, red side, red composition, blue side, blue composition. That's the story of this game. We'll see if the results are the same or not. Yeah, you know what? They just left the ban run to time down, so they're not going to get that. There is no second chance on that. They are potentially pinging us in the chat here just to make sure that things are not a little offset. So we are going to get to the bottom of this before too long, and better now in the champion select than when we do run down into the likes of a full-on pause game. So we are going to be getting to the bottom of that one for you guys at home. Do want to keep things running as smoothly as possible. As just from my perspective here, it looks like they're going to let that next ban run down. So we'll have a little bit more information here. Okay. But I do like what I'm seeing compositionally, just the trade away, right? It's at least interesting from a viewer perspective.
Your emperor shall return.
Yeah, a little strange, but you know what? They don't want, just with the impending Wombo combo that is already on the side of Kennesaw State. Well, the Ornn pickup will be coming out for the side of the Drexel Dragons in the top lane. Reaper going to have a shot at redemption with some, champion that has a little bit more actualizing power than the Poppy that we saw early on. Didn't have the best lane into Havoc Shen. Still blind on what Havoc's going to pick into that. The Gnar, I would be not surprised if it comes out there. It does get locked in. So it's pretty lock, stock, and barrel. We know that that's the case. Havoc had it banned against him last time, I believe. I want to say that I know at least one of these teams banned the Gnar. I believe it was the Drexel Dragons, just getting that one out of there. So now it is up to DKC. They do opt for the Janna instead. Probably just going to feel a little bit better about protecting Vars. But look at that. It is the Vigar locked in for the mid lane going up against the Galio. So, that is looking like, yes, they are actually swapping out the roles this time around. So it will be Cha-Ching playing that AD role. Pathsend now in the support. Daddy Dazzle trying to dazzle us with some moves on that Veigar in the mid lane. Meta shifting the meta into the jungle, and Reaper, the only one staying consistent on his top lane island. We're back to game one here, Steven. We're back. No one knows what's going on, right? KSU, they thought they saw the cards. They thought they would have the adaptive phase in. The true adaptation is coming in now from the Drexel Dragons. So we're going to be seeing if they can kind of outsmart the Owls here. Maybe activate the trap card, get Cha-Ching on his true role of AD carry. This might be the Hail Mary, though. You never know. They might have said, okay, you know what? We tried with our best foot forward. Let's dig in and see if this is the change that works, because this is certainly uncommon for what we're used to in College League. But You know, yeah. Well, I tell you what, that would definitely be the anime plotline if I've ever seen one. The bait and switch coming out from Drexel. So we'll see whether or not they can capitalize on it. I myself am equal parts curious and flabbergasted at what is unfolding before me here. So as the timer is ticking down on that 3-minute delay, we'll get into it pretty soon. But again, I do just have to hit a little bit of information in case you don't know about the CSL, who we are, how we operate. Do want to get you guys plugged into the pipeline there. So if you want to join our Discord community, that's a great way to figure out a little bit about who we are, how you can get your school involved in any collegiate esport, not just necessarily League of Legends, but if you're a Dota player. Oh, like Madden is up there. Madden is. So there's also Dota. We have the likes of Counter-Strike and some other, StarCraft, both 2 and remastered. So pick your poison there. Just type !Discord in chat to get all the information you want about that one. We'll hook you up. The bots will take care of you there. If you want to follow us on social media, be plugged in for the League of Legends games as they are happening. Catch your favorite school to root for. Find us twitter.com/CStarLeague for league-specific content. You can find twitter.com/CSLLOL. It's only 6 little digits there. Easy to find. Facebook.com/CStarLeague. Keep up with us on that social media platform. Want to give a huge shout out to Twitch, our beloved sponsor, for their continued support. Big events like PAX East and West, many more that we love to put on, wouldn't be possible without their continued help and support. So show them some love on their social media, twitter.com/Twitch, facebook.com/Twitch, twitch.tv. You're there right now if you're hearing my voice, guaranteed. Unless you are on YouTube, which of course you can find all of our YouTube VODs. YouTube.com/user/CStarLeague. So great ways to stay plugged in. Get your school involved, guys. Collegiate esports is a lot of fun. It's on the up and up, and we want you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, quick addendum here. Do need to let you know, Return, it sounds like we're having some technical issues with your mic. I've been hearing him. Sounds like you guys have not been hearing him. So we're going to try to get that one fixed.
That's fixed now.
It is fixed now. The beautiful voice of Stephen Return Johnson.
Thanks, Dan.
Kyle Corvus Crow here at the College League of Legends casting desk. So glad to have you back. Sorry if it sounded like I was just spacing off, but we were riffing back and forth. Did have a little bit going on there. All in all, just some compositional talk that I'm sure we'll get to in the game itself. Don't know how long that was out of commission for, but a lot of good points to cover still. So it just means we get to run back, be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, and it's good to be here again. Thankfully, voice did go through for game number 1, but back again for game 2. And to summarize kind of the thoughts going out here is that currently with these 2 competitions, we're basically seeing a rerun of the same ideas coming on out here, where we have Drexel, who have now just completely shuffled the roster. It's like they just put them all in the hat. They grabbed it. I was like, all right, you're going top, you're going mid lane, you're going ADC. But even past all of that, it's still this idea focusing around a very strong engage. You have the Ornn, you have the Sejuani, plus the Lover's ball lane. Do it with just a little bit of Deadly Dazzle on the side for the late game stealing potential. And you still need to have the coordination when you just keep moving around those members. I'm not super convinced so far that that's really going to be in your favor. And already also, Reaper, we were kind of hoping he'd get a little bit of redemption up there on the top side, has picked himself now into the losing matchup.
Yeah, definitely did draft that Ornn off the rip this time first, so it was the counter pick Gnar, second pick by Havoc there. He was very patient on that one. We'll see, though. Ornn definitely has a little bit more, I think, potential here just in this current meta than what we saw with the Poppy, and who knows, it may be a little bit more of a comfort champion, so excited to see how it pans out. Obviously not the easiest road into the Gnar, especially when there is a Jarvan IV just lurking around that jungle, you know, posing that gank threat on a top laner that does have some trouble with ganks from time to time. Holy cow, Pathsend and Cha-Ching doing the damage early. Not even at that level 2 yet, just the level 1 power spike on the Lights and DKC. They have to back that one off. They'll chug a potion and they'll be okay, but that's at least setting the right tone off the start for this bot lane for Drexel.
Most certainly, and they're already going to engage on full way. Level 2's come across.
Yeah, that is the level 2 they do want to find it. The Ignite comes down, forces the summoner heal, and gets DKC in a pretty low position as well. So the two of these Kennesaw State Owls are likely going to have a harder time here in this bot lane. Seem to be a little bit rattled, you know, maybe thought they had the lane all figured out. Pushed against them early last game, but, you know, wasn't the biggest deal in the world. Now, with the swap up with Cha-Ching, making the bling-bling in the bot lane, it's a new question.
Yeah, most certainly. And the thing with Varus, I hit on this a little bit before, which I have now realized I've been muted for, but the Varus pick is the top pick priority in the meta at the moment because it still has that late game scaling ADC feel where you can count on this guy to carry you through on those 30, 40, 50-minute team fights, God forbid it gets that far.
Okay.
But also, you rely on a 2-item spike very similar to Xayah, but it goes the Rage Blade route, but Lionheart, he's already just auto-attacking, fighting this mid lane, and once again, meta shift.
To do it, too. Daddy Dazzle, that's the flash over the wall, but look at that Lionheart. It's a little bit cheeky there. Probably knew exactly what Daddy Dazzle was trying to do. DKC and Lights getting engaged under their own tower. Going to get Pathsend a little low, but Cha-Ching's still going to feel pretty good about this one. Willing to take the cheeky shots because he thinks he can get the kill. We'll see how they juggle. This aggro here flashes out. Making a huge mistake. First blood to DKC. Not what you want at all. Cha-Ching had the advantage and just greeted super hard. And that is DKC finding first blood for what I believe might be the second time that in this series.
Oh, there is absolutely no reason you have to force that dive. Just accept the CS lead you're getting. But they kite around it too hard, and that's first blood going over to Lights and DKC, most specifically him. But that could be...
Pathsend thinks he can find this. He has no mana, though. What is he doing? He has to flash out. Oof.
Oh,
ouch.
no,
Owie, my support.
Oh no, this is not a good start at all. I mean, the one shining light for the entire Drexel squad was that bottom lane. They've moved some people around, and already they're down.
Yeah, certainly. Pathsend, you know, was the carry that last time around and very consistent on that Kalista. Now in the support role, obviously knows the bot lane matchups pretty well, as he did just play against this Xayah Rakan. So, you know, possibly has the knowledge he needs there. We'll get back to that in a second because looks like we have some action coming down in this mid lane. Both junglers present, but it is actually Daddy Dazzle in the more trouble. Forced both summoners out, meta shift. Maybe trying to salvage this one, but I think it's just going to be taking away both summoners from the Dragon mid laner there. And the Kennesaw State Owls, you know, burned a couple flashes on that one, but I feel like they're going to feel pretty good about that, all things considered.
Yeah, without a doubt. And still, since we're before the level 6 mark, it is a fairly tough task for either team to really get one of these early plays going out. But already, Daddy Dazzle is having a pretty rough laning phase, and that's definitely not a lane that Veigar auto-wins by any means possible. And Galio is still having a good amount of that early damage with the Winds of Storm on the Q, and just general trading overall, but things could have turned around very ugly there, and once again, great save from Metashift, able to catch out last mage before he follows through on the heroic charge, so able to save just a little bit on his mid laner and keeping that Veigar alive for now.
Yeah, but certainly not the start that we want to see from Daddy Dazzle. They're already down a handful of CS just due to being forced out of the lane. Probably going to equalize pretty soon here, but all things considered, still not the you know, jump out of the gate that you want for, you know, it's a role swap. We're going to pick the unconventional Veigar, and you feel like this has a little bit of surprising power, and it just feels like it's getting a little wasted in these first 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, most certainly. And though we are seeing Lionheart do some pretty early moves here for Kennesaw, keeping them in the advantage. And once again, the weird thing is that a lot of these core champions, like the Xayah Rakan and like the J4 plus Galio, are staying on the same sides of the map, and they're very much mimicking the early game plans coming out from the other respective squads. But a little bit of fights here. Here could be the first change.
Ooh, looks like the gank coming up. Kennesaw State showing exactly how you want to do the Galio ultimate this time around. You know, wasn't the best for the Drexel Dragons last time around, but forces the flash at a minimum outside of Reaper. They want to go for more. The Ignite comes down. Call of the Forge God as well. Tries to find the damage onto Havoc, but won't even get to channel it back as last mage gets the kill for himself on that Galio. The Shining Light might be the Drake attempt coming out of the Drexel Dragons. They know dragons themselves because they're chasing one down right now. Lionheart wants to get in, might just be content to find Daddy Dazzle. Doesn't with the stop. Look at that, Nar stole it! Are you kidding me? Kills Meta Shift too, just for good measure. And now Cha-Ching on the run. Dazzle did find a kill onto Lionheart, but look at this. It is the ADC of Drexel in some serious trouble. A double kill going over. Everything seems to be going in Kennesaw's favor this time around. They lost their jungler, but they'll be happy to make the trade for 3 kills onto Drexel and a dragon.
This is how you execute the early game composition that they have. They've got the Galio. They aren't afraid to make the play top lane, and then they still have enough in the tank to contest the dragon. And not only do they get that kill up on top lane, not only did they get the first blood from a failed play out of Drexel, but now they also got the dragon from a steal from Havoc, who really, there is no excuse for that from Meta Shift. He just misses the smite. On top of, they just give up kill after kill. This is the picture-perfect start of the game for Kennesaw. And sure, they're not out of the woods just yet. Lights isn't at the super high carry point at the moment, and Last Mage is still pretty far from being a full-on carry himself, but they are putting themselves in the perfect spot to actually carry this game out through.
Oh man, yeah, I think they definitely have an ideal start here, and so it's just a matter of capitalizing. They don't need to be wasteful. They don't need to fall into this trap of, hey, we can do anything in disrespect, because we saw what it ended them up with at the end of last game. It wasn't necessarily the comeback potential, but it certainly hurt their chances when they did just stick around. If that had been late game death timers, that could have been a different story entirely. Obviously it wasn't. They knew the circumstances when they took the risk, but even so, it's not anything we want to see this time around. Cha-Ching going low though. DKC has to force the Janna ultimate. Going to be happy to do it if he can get that summoner spell out. And now in the mid lane, a little bit more action going down. A little scrappy across the entire map, but I doubt any deaths without the jungler intervention. There is Lionheart, finds the dunk to prove me wrong, and the Janna ultimate, the tornado will get him out in one piece. So a nice clean takeaway coming out of Lionheart. No summoners needed. The summoner heal did come down from Lights. I'm not sure if that was actually to get Lionheart out in one piece, or if that was a little bit earlier in this scrappy set of skirmishes that we did see.
As everything just seems to be going perfectly for Kennesaw around the map, the biggest part of that is Lights and DKC winning the bottom lane here, because that's a lane that Cha-Ching and Passan, if everything was evened out there, could be ahead in. But the big part is now that there are no lanes with pressure coming out from the side of Drexel. That means going forward, when you have this such high gameplay, high team fight making team out of the side of Kennesaw, they can go around and do whatever they want without any fear of just retribution.
Oh man, Last Image in a little bit of trouble here, but he's taking the 2v1
He's gonna
and actually
2v1.
forcing the flash out of Meta Shift. Daddy Dazzle not able to find the damage he needs to. Flashes in for the ultimate, but severely miscalculates his damage. Last Mage. Odd to see those words smushed together so closely. Does BM a little bit, sticks around, thinks he's got it, but as he does get hit up, is going to need some of that shielding, a little bit of healing to stay in this lane and feel good about it. Don't think the overstay is absolutely necessary, so he will be forcing Daddy Dazzle back. So just finds the extra CS and gets on out.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kennesaw, they are not actually able to make any plays with Daddy's current damage in the lane, and already at a pretty hard disadvantage. And now I want to see where Drexel's actually going to be able to put the pressure all around the map, because Kennesaw, they're probably going to be pretty content dragging up Lights to this top side of the map. They already got that first dragon. Honestly, a little bit off of a fluke, but what's a little bit more interesting is that they're just going to keep Havoc on this top side, give him the support of Lionheart and DKC, and just try to shove over this top lane, because if you are this side for Kennesaw, you just want to knock down towers at that point.
Yeah, and we saw a saving grace for the Drexel Dragons last game was that they did get that early tower first thing, and that, I believe, even the gold up from somewhere in, I think they were a K down right around 1600. Oh boy, this is not good. Yeah, goodbye Daddy Dazzle is going to fall. Pathstan wanted to come in. But the first tower, just to cap all this really quickly, was the saving grace. This time it does go over to Kennesaw State, so they're only really stretching this early game advantage. They're 5k gold up. with that most recent kill at 11 minutes here. With the Rift Herald, they show no sign
pop
of
him
slowing
in.
down. Wow.
Yeah, they're going super aggro at the moment. Top lane is still having advantage. Havoc has the TP up in just a few seconds. There is nothing to stop this unrelenting aggression coming out of Kennesaw. This is just early game comps played well, and there is such a long time before anything for Drexel really comes to fruition, but here comes the fight!
Oh, Pathsen going in deep for it, trying to find it, but look at that! The Glacial Prism doesn't land, and the Call of the Forge God goes wide as well, finds 2 knockups on the back line, but the initial CC to get the damage was not there. Lionheart on the way out for his life.
That's a Mega Gnar TP!
Find lights, but it is Mega Gnar TPing in, and meanwhile, Pathsen has gone down and is traded for the jungler. Lionheart gone down, Reaper on the back line gonna go low, Havoc trying to not take the health bar, does only barely live. They find 3 on the side of Kennesaw State. They traded back 2, though, as lights did fall at the end of that scrap. So it is low health bars on all sides. Daddy Dazzle in the perfect position to maybe push this out a little bit further if he wants, but he has to be careful about it. Really just going to reset here in this mid lane. Last Mage doesn't seem to be daunted, and sloppy play by Kennesaw State. A great engage coming through from Drexel just to find themselves something back on the board. I believe they did lose more for it. Kennesaw still barely came out a little bit ahead for it, but you know, these are the plays that at least Drexel needs to be not afraid to make to claw themselves back into this game.
Most certainly, and a big part of that fight was that turnaround point where you bring in Havoc. A little bit confused why he didn't just shove everyone up against the wall. Instead, he shoved them back into the rest of his team, and really solidified the fight going even instead of going all in his favor. And the big thing was he had the J4 ultimate right next to him. He could have slammed everyone into that, but doesn't come to fruition. At least they're far enough ahead where they're just gonna win team fights because XD they're ahead. 1 item spike being completed onto lights. That means that they're gonna keep pretty high up in pressure. And the fact that the Drexel squad is going to almost trade priority around the map. Actually, nothing on the mid lane right now, but they're just trying to shove out tower for tower. And sure, they're gonna get the advantage on Havoc, but this could be a point for Kennesaw to actually make a play in response.
Yes, certainly so. They want to find it. Pathsen under the tower is going to be able to scrap it out, but will it cost him his life? Yes, indeed it does. Cha-Ching now possibly in a little bit of trouble. Meta Shift is down there, but it's a little too late. We'll see if they can find Havoc. I believe so. So wasn't able to save his carry, but was able to at least deal the first death to the top lane of Kennesaw State. And now see what they can pick up across the map, because they've been pushing lanes out, but it looks like the shove doesn't want to necessarily slow down. They're making the call to leave Cha-Ching down there and just hammer out at these towers while the rest of the team tries to hold out. So I like what I'm seeing. It's a little bit of life breathed back in. It's just isn't enough, because Kennesaw State finding an answer in that mid lane will take the tower away and kind of beat Drexel to the punch here.
Yeah, now they need to be very careful on this fight, because any kills going over in favor of Kennesaw could easily flip the rest of this team fight and the rest of this early game over on a dime. And just look at the gold lead. That is a 6K lead. And sure, a lot of that advantage is on to the galley, where you are going to have some questionable return on the value there, but still a pretty big number. And even ADC getting pretty far ahead. Maybe getting chased down here.
Yeah, I think it's just going to go back to neutral here. Does find Cha-Ching just on the edge of that boomerang. I thought it went wide, but no, Havoc actually in a pretty good position to just push this one out. Look at the damage he does at least. It didn't happen. Oh no, that's heartbreaking, and the ultimate comes out, but I think it's too little too late. Havoc living up to his namesake, just wreaking havoc on now this bot lane that is Drexel, and that is not what you want. The flash over the wall didn't connect, and that's just heartbreaking.
Just like last match, the saving grace for Drexel has to be their ADC, but they're outnumbered on this top side.
Ooh, yeah, actually, Lights, the immobile AD, possibly in a little bit of trouble here. Is Daddy Dazzle trying to come in, Pathsen as well. They have the tools to get back there. Call of the Forge God, the first one they use. Lionheart doesn't get found. It is only a knockup on the DKC, but Lights is not there. That is good potential coming in for the Galio dive. We'll see. Finds a couple, but DKC already low. Meta Shift. That's not what you want. That's not the damage. Daddy Dazzle is, and he goes down. They try to find more. Reaper is low on the back line. Does have to flash out. Meta Shift using that stopwatch, and so far only DKC the casualty for Kennesaw State Owls, and they will clean house in the top lane in return. 3 dead. That's the top half of the map. 4 dead, I'm sorry, as Pathsen was found there as well, and this means trouble for the towers of Drexel for sure.
The big thing with that was a fight initiated from the members of this Drexel squad. They were on the front foot. They started to engage wholeheartedly, knowing they weren't going to have Cha-Ching. They weren't going to have their ADC to back them up on that fight. And when you're in this situation, you have the theoretical scaling advantage. You still have Daddy Dazzle, who's working on building up those stacks of evil. You still have Cha-Ching, who, even if it's going to be very far in the future, will eventually hit that 2 items. Like, we'll keep on going from there, but they choose to keep this game moving a little bit faster, and it bites them right back. If they want to have any chance left in this match, they need to start pumping those brakes, throw a little bit more vision game down, and play the trading game instead of the fighting everyone 5-on-5, because unfortunately, like, the anime-esque just have the miracle team fight where everyone just comes out on top isn't quite how you bring this game back.
Unfortunately not. Returned, you and I talked about this composition in detail, maybe a little bit lost on the viewers here, but one thing we definitely did mention early into this is that it is, you know, what are we seeing here with these role swaps? Is this the trick play, or is this a Hail Mary coming out from the side of Drexel? And so far it looks to be definitely the latter of, hey, look, we're just going to throw something at the wall, see if it sticks, because Cha-Ching on this AD role, not half as consistent. Sure, still has a CS lead, I guess, if you want to qualify that as an advantage right now, but the 4 deaths, and, you know, make that 5 right quickly. The ult might just save him, but I think he's going to go down all to boot. It is a nice route coming in from Pathsen. He's the sacrificial lamb instead, so gets his 4th death himself. This is not the bot lane consistency that we saw out of Drexel last time around, and KSU are just running rampant on them for it.
And it all started with that bot lane play. If they had not dove that tower, if they hadn't given over that early gold, they would still have the lane advantage. Even, yes, there's a theoretical possibility where the enemy Galio, the enemy J4 do roam down, you have to concede a little bit, but they'd still be playing with pressure as opposed to where they are right now, and that is just completely in the toilets.
You know what? They're playing with some pressure, all right. It's just not their pressure. So they're having to deal with it one way or another. Pathsen trying to get in onto Lionheart. Doubt they're going to be able to do much, as we've seen most Drexel engages fall a little bit flat or go completely the other way, which it looks like it just might. Cha-Ching gets absolutely dunked on. Lionheart finds the kill there, but Last Mage was the source of so much damage with his ultimate in. The inhibitor's going to fall before 20 minutes here. That's 18:35 on that one. And look at Daddy Dazzle taking out under both Nexus towers. Havoc in the top lane, just pushing things through to keep Reaper's time, meaning he cannot back. And the side of Kennesaw State are going to back off just to see what more damage they can do to this base after a quick breather.
And yeah, this is just a complete falling apart match from Drexel, where you need that miracle play, that godlike Baron Seal coming out of Meta Shift. Somebody needs to be the hero the team so desperately I don't want to say deserves at the moment, but most certainly needs. But there's just nowhere to actually generate that advantage from. You need the enemy team to almost hand you a little bit something in response. And I mean, we were talking about how the Galio pick normally doesn't do that much damage, but you just saw Daddy Dazzle basically get 100-0 by one combo coming out of Last Mage. There is no member of this Drexel squad that can go up with any other member of Kennesaw. Every member of Kennesaw is a potential threat for that backline.
And Return, how nervous are you right now if you are the Drexel Dragons, knowing that even if you miraculously pull this one back off, there's another game to play, right? Kennesaw State, 20 minutes here, show no signs of throwing away this lead at their 12K gold lead that they have, and 15 kills on the boot. Lionheart going in 1v3 as the rest of his team's not there to follow up immediately, and the backline is there from Meta Shift instead. Finds himself in some trouble, but his team cleans house on the back line for Meta Shift, and he does go down lights, finding another kill there. Actually only his 3rd of the game, despite participating in 10 other kills. So a lot of good global pressure, and the Havoc split push storyline still staying, you know, online. I don't love it that he's split pushing the lane where they're spawning the super minions, but he certainly will draw the attention, has to flash out, and secures his team the Baron here for sure.
Exactly, and yeah, it's never always the best idea to go into the lane with no inhibitor, because it's very unlikely you're actually going to get anything, but it's always the best when you want to draw away this Baron pressure, and that is exactly what they get in response. And now they need to use this Baron to start closing out this game, because I mean, as much as this match has been going all the way of Kennesaw, already at a 13.7k goal lead in their pockets alone. Even before you factor in the extra dragons they have, the Baron buff they now have, and just their champion competition as well, there is still that possibility of scaling in. I mean, if you're Drexel at this point, I don't so much as dread the idea of a third game. I relish in it because you got to know if the Drexel squad's able to win out this match, that room of players is going to go absolutely wild, and they're going to be so ready for that next game. And how crushing mentally would it be to lose the match where you're 14k up with absolutely no way of losing?
Oh, I know it too. I would love to hear that, actually. I'm sure their neighbors wouldn't. It is a little bit late, both of these schools in the Eastern time zone, so the KSU Night Owls are certainly living up to their name here, the Drexel Dragons as well. I don't know how Dragons' sleeping schedules are, but yeah, that would be a loud eruption. I guarantee you there'd be some yelling, some upset dorm mates for an evening match such as this. Well, they're maybe going to try to find it as the top lane is grouping together, and they are looking for, you know, that potential last-ditch engage. It's taking two members, though, both solo laners, actually, to hold Havoc and this super minion conglomerate that he's forming in the bot lane. So things are looking all the more grim. They're pushing out this mid lane now. Kennesaw State knocking at the doors of this base. They want to find Lights, and he's in some real trouble. DKC cannot save his carry. He might not even be able to save himself in this instance. They're going to try to just back off. They can't chase him down because their inhibitor is in trouble itself. It does go to fall. That is two inhibitors now in trouble. Only the top lane towers surviving, that and the Nexus ones, as they are pushing in pretty hard from the side of Kennesaw State.
I think there's still just enough power for the squad out of Kennesaw where they can just walk into this base 4v5 and still walk away with a pretty solid fight. Those are some big ultimates flown.
Ooh, Patsen wants to find in on 4, but, you know, gets just that. 4 members of Kennesaw State right in his face. Lionheart going unstoppable on that. That is Last Image coming out, Last Mage, I'm sorry, coming in with the hero's entrance to take that one away. Cha-ching, Patsen dead yet again. 6 and 5 for these two bot laners of Drexel, and now it looks like all but a formality as Kennesaw State are trying to get in onto this tower. It does a little bit more damage than they might have thought. We're still only 23 minutes into this game. KSU has a kill for every minute on the board, as well as a 15k gold lead. It's a pretty insane game we've seen thus far, but I don't think they're really comfortable trying to finish this one off without Lights. And he's going to go for a dragon.
Exactly, and that was a very awkward way for him to actually go and approach that split push game. They spent 2 members up in mid, 2 members mid, 2 members top, 1 member on the bottom side, with the 2 members on the top side being the dual lane support ADC, mid lane being Lionheart plus Last Mage. And I understand the idea of keeping Havoc away, I even understand the idea of keeping Last Mage separate, but there's no reason Lionheart can't be with that core squad, and the main way you're going to take these towers is with your ADC. Allow there be a situation where you can frontline for those members, but here comes the engage, they can just pick up members.
Yeah, I think they want to find Last Mage. He's in a lot of trouble, actually. Does get shut down, and a kill going over to Cha-ching, so he's going to bank a little bit of gold onto that one. Feel pretty good about it, but look at the turn on the trade. It is the top lane in some serious trouble. Wherever Lights goes, there is trouble for Drexel right now, so they're going to feel great about the pickoff on Last Mage, but Cha-ching needs to get there to help this defensive problem. And now Havoc may actually just want the soul. Are you kidding me? Look at that damage. 6, 1, and 4 now. And he's not going to stop anytime soon. That has just made a huge hole for Kennesaw State to come punch down this bot lane inhibitor again, perhaps, and maybe make the game-winning fight for themselves.
They're going to engage right now.
Oh, yeah, they want to come in. It is going to be Daddy Dazzle in some trouble. Lionheart doing things all by himself, so it seems. The assist would say otherwise, but Patsen now in some trouble. Does go down. Havoc killing spree for himself. Reaper falls as well. That one goes to Lights, and it looks like the game is going to go to Kennesaw. They're taking this one away. 27 minutes last time, 25 this time, but it was such a much more commanding lead this time around as Kennesaw State proved that they are the worthy opponent over Drexel Dragons today. The Owls will take this one for themselves, moving up to 5-1 in the JV standings and getting all that much closer to those playoffs, that potential chance to compete for that 10K live on stage. Kennesaw keeps the dream alive.
And just a few more shots. Unfortunately, no more KDA padding, but you are correct. That will finally be the game. And the pretty quick and pretty clean 2-0 series going the way of Kennesaw. And honestly, that was just them taking control from the get-go. A lot more proactive plays coming out of them than was possible with that Drexel squad when they had the J4 Galio combination. But also the bot lane. Cha-ching really was not looking too good. The duo of Cha-ching plus the support in there, I believe that was Passend. What were you doing on that bottom lane? Because that play right there defined the game.
Yeah, it really did, and set the tone so early on. Just hey, we're gonna go for this aggression. And you know what? I feel like maybe Drexel felt, okay, you know what? We're on the back foot. We're seriously in some trouble. Let's try something bold and brash. And at least they went for it, and they committed not just one time, but several times throughout the storyline of this game. The problem is they didn't quite recognize when it just wasn't working, and then take the necessary steps to slow the bleeding. So did allow in the end for Kennesaw State to come out the 2-0 victor with just a huge lead here in this second game, quadrupling the kills, up almost 20k gold, 18 or so, give and take a little bit of chump change there, and 10 towers to 1. What a scoreline in 25 minutes.
Most certainly, and between each game, it was different members that really got them ahead at the end. I mean, Toplin was just always performing, whether he was on the winning matchup, whether he was on the losing matchup. Havoc always found a way to just be so impactful in these matches. Like, at the end of that game, you saw Havoc one-shotting literally everyone. Kaching fell in like 3 autos. Pass then slightly tankier fell at 4 auto attacks, and it was just absolutely brutal watching that man just rip apart everyone else. But I'd say for the Kennesaw squad, the big thing with me is there's definitely those streaks of brilliance. There's that underlying gameplay ready for them. I think they just need to work out those minute details. There were those few over-aggressive plays, especially in game number 1, and the fact that we only really saw them play one type of comp. I think there's a good future for this team. I just think it needs a little bit more refinement before it's ready for that big stage.
Definitely so. Feeling a little squirrely on some of the plays that they made there. Got to tighten that up. And, some good footage if you are the side of the Kennesaw State Owls. Some great footage if you are their opponents. Somebody else a little bit further along in the bracket knows you're facing this team. I would not doubt that those, people are lurking here in the Twitch, going to check the YouTube VODs, do their research. And I think if you are one of those teams, Havoc is a player that you have to look for here. He had a huge game on the Shen, huge game on the Gnar, and, we know that those are 2 great champions for him. We don't know how further that pool goes. So a lot to consider if you do have Kennesaw coming up. Of course, if you want to keep track of any of those games, !Discord in the chat, get you all the information you need if you are a competing school, if you want to be a competing school, if you just want to figure out who we are, what we do, great way to follow us. Social media as well, twitter.com/CStarLeague, facebook.com/CStarLeague. If you want more league-specific content, because you don't like other esports, how inferior, then you can just find us at twitter.com/CSLLOL. Going to be breaking down all the action there. All of our VODs on YouTube as well, youtube.com/user/C-Star League there. Gets a little confusing from time to time. And lastly, on that one, want to give a huge shout out to Twitch. It's where you saw these games played live tonight in front of you with the ever so lovely Twitch chat to, accompany the games as they unfold. More than just our voices to keep you company there. So a lot of love to Twitch. Always want to thank them for supporting our endeavors. Keep up with them on social media, facebook.com/Twitch, twitter.com/Twitch. I have been Kyle Corvus Crow, joined at the desk today by the lovely voice of Steven Returned Johnson. If you want to give us any feedback on how this one sounded tonight, you can find us on our Twitters, !Casters in the chat there. And that'll get you taken care of everything you need. Plus, you can see what I look like without a beard. So that's a pretty good one, if there ever were a reason. We want to thank you so much for joining us tonight for this excellent JV matchup. We want to give good GGs to the Kennesaw State Owls for their victory and congratulate Drexel as well on a hard-fought series. Wish them the best of luck as they continue throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good night. That's going to be it for us.
Cool. Catch you guys next week as we will have quite a bit more league. I believe we actually have a league match potentially lined up for Wednesday. Make sure you guys stay up to date. But yeah, just make sure you guys stick around and see you guys then.
Once again.